September the 22nd, 2023. Guys, you're looking at live images now this afternoon. This is Nags Head Pier out on the Outer Banks there. You can definitely tell the storm is rolling in. Check out the wind, the waves. They're coming up pretty high on this pier. The storm is increasing in strength, and this is going to be in the bad side of the storm. It's going to come in to your south or to the right of this image when it comes in just below this area. But you're going to be getting the worst part of it just like you are now. Now this is the Outer Banks. Also, this is the Hilton Garden Inn and Kitty Hawk is what we're looking at right here. Pretty good swells. Be good surfing, except it's a little too dangerous, guys, with the undercurrents and the rip currents, the wind, things like that. And you look like you're kind of in mid-tide at this point. I'm not sure. Let us know what you're dealing with in that area. But we'll take just a quick look at the satellite images of where the storm's at, what the speed is, current tracking. Now, I mentioned that it's a rather large storm to be small, but you've got gale warnings that are in effect from southern Florida all the way up into Massachusetts right there. In the maroon, you've got tropical storm warnings. Notice how many counties inland are involved, and that's because that's where it's going to come in. Again, the last report, it was looking like it was going to come in south of the Outer Banks and then move up and out. What's a little hard to see are the purple areas here. We looked at them earlier. It's right along the bank, but those are storm surge warnings. Let's see what information they've got. Now, this update is 9 minutes old. It came out 2 p.m. Eastern. What we're dealing with is Tropical Storm Ophelia. You can see where your tropical storm warnings are all along the coast and see how wide the tropical storm wind field is back down into Carolina itself. But notice there are gale force wind warnings all the way down below the midpoint of Florida, below Okeechobee in that area. Now, by 8 a.m. in the morning, it's going to be coming ashore here, again, south of the Outer Bank Islands. Throughout the day, 8 p.m. Saturday, still a tropical storm setting here going into Virginia. That's why you saw the tropical storm warnings so far inland on those county maps. Then again, 8 p.m. Saturday, still tropical storm. 8 a.m. Sunday morning setting here in northeastern Virginia. Then you're going to be getting up into just east of Delaware, somewhere in that area, depending on where this model fades out, possibly into Pennsylvania by 8 p.m. Sunday evening. And we'll look at a couple of the models and see where it's going to exit. We've got a couple of different ones. Let's look at that also. Now, this goes back to the 11 a.m. Eastern Time advisory. Not much has changed here. In the blue, from South Sante River to Surf City, 1 to 3 feet. 2 to 4 feet in the yellow areas up into the lower Chesapeake Bay. Then 1 to 3 feet in the upper Chesapeake Bay, the lower Potomac River, 2 to 4 feet. See how far this goes up river. Delaware Bay, 1 to 3 feet, and then all the way up to the Manasquan Inlet, 1 to 3 feet. This is the current, the latest, again, 11 a.m. update on the storm surge. So be aware of this. Now, something you need to watch for is that this thing's coming ashore. This is the tropical outlook from Sky Tower down in Florida, part of the Fox hurricane system. We're at 60 miles an hour now, but notice the second logo right here, the second mark. Friday at 8 p.m., that's this afternoon, 65 mile per hour storm, and it's still going to be several miles offshore. When you get above 74 miles an hour, you're into Cat 1 hurricane, so there could be more strengthening as it crosses this warm water before it comes ashore past the 65 mile point. Regardless, these are sustained wind speeds. You've got gust on top of that. So you more than likely, guys, now you're already starting to see very near hurricane force gust in that outside the center area. So just be prepared as if you were about to face a Category 1 hurricane coming ashore. It still looks like it's going to be just south of the Outer Banks on this Fox model. Also part of the 2 p.m. update, your spaghetti models. This is the Canadian model. It winds up through here, then comes out through Boston and back into the Atlantic. Now, the Navy model is interesting because it's very accurate, and it winds itself up in here. It's this purple that you see right here under NVGM or NavGem. And it looks like it curls back and stalls out here over the DC area. So if it does that, you're going to get a lot more rain as that storm's coming up your way. So make sure you're accounting this loop back over the same area as far as the amount of rainfall you're going to be looking at. Again, we don't want the swamp to flood out, but you may get a little water. Now, the Canadian model is showing some things that are different from this morning's update. One is the fact that what's left of it does pull out into the Atlantic, but notice how it lingers again over the DC area, the way that the Navy map was showing, the Navy spaghetti models. Right in that area, moves out. But it sits there. It comes up and almost to a stop before it moves. That could indicate much more water there than it's expected. Then by the 29th, you've got another storm setting off the Carolinas. Now here on the Navy model, you can see where Ophelia just basically disappears. It stalls out right here over the DC area again, right there, and basically just fades out like it's sitting there and rains itself out. Everything else appears to be turning into the North Atlantic. You guys in the UK, keep an eye on what the remnants do. These are the latest Atlantic images. You can see where the center of circulation here. Notice one thing, and that may be positive for the fact that they're talking about flash flood warnings. You've got part of the side, the northeastern side of the storm is dry. Check this out. The storms are off to the north and northwest so far, and we were looking at webcams here along Nags Head that we were seeing. So the worst part of the storm is not yet there, but you're already getting the clouds and the rain from it here and the push of the winds. Again, you're dealing with what's about to become a 65-mile-per-hour plus storm here. So make sure you watch it. We'll be watching for the evening updates. I'm going to link to the Nags Head webcam in the description below where you can watch it yourself. Make sure you've got everything, all your ducks in a row for what's coming in there. You could lose power. You're going to need extra batteries. Charge all your phones, all of your battery-powered things like your weather radio. Get extra water, fill up your tubs, because there's going to be places that lose power along the Carolina coast as this thing comes in. So just be prepared. Watch for updates. It's a heads up. Be safe.